there's this misconception that the minute you become confident, that the fear of rejection or the fear of approaching people will go away. You couldn't be further from the truth. The fear never really goes away, but you will know how to manage it and not show your nervousness or anxiety, whatever you have. I came up with 4 ways to approach people that actually reduces the amount of rejection you'll get, and I'm gonna share it with you. Number 1, that's the conventional approach. When you ask for directions, time, and directions. Favorite place in the world? Hey, do you know where the Fog of War competition is? Like the festival?
Tomorrow.
For real?
I thought it was today. It's actually tomorrow.
Nah, I'm leaving tomorrow, so it's not possible. Nah, so what did they say about it? Like, how do you figure out?
I looked it up online. I'll look it up again.
Everybody's saying it's today, you know?
Everybody's saying it's today?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
If you wanna hang out and like look it up and ask some strangers, I don't know.
Yeah. Where are you about to go right now?
I don't know, Koksaidori, and ask some random.
Yeah, I stay right here. I'm just going to get my charger. And
your charger and your camera. By the way, I'm a YouTube vlogger. Say hello.
What's up?
Hey, what's your name?
Jacob.
Where you from?
I'm from America, South Carolina.
Oh, awesome, Jacob. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, buddy.
I'll wait here for you, yeah?
Cultural exploration.
Yeah, cultural exploration. I like that. I'm doing the same thing.
Oh, yeah. All right, 1 second.
Yeah, all right. Hey, look like a cool guy, so I thought I'd just say hi. So here I actually talked to him, Jacob, and I noticed that he wanted to go to the event that I wanted to go to as well. But me making my problem his problem, it kind of like bonds us together because we want the same thing. Why not work together? And we had like a common ground. Again, common ground, that word is probably the most important word that you need in order to actually get on with people. Common ground. That's basically how I got him on board. And by the way, I just want to say, having a camera and a GoPro and whatsoever with me puts me at a disadvantage because it's fucking hard. It's a lot harder than just being natural and not having anything, but I'm doing it for you guys. So if you learn anything from my videos, give it a like right now. The thing with approaching people like that and hanging out with them, anybody can do it, but there's a way you gotta do it. When you approach people, please keep your body language in mind. You don't want to say, oh, where is the next grocery store? You know, you're all up in their face and stuff, and it puts too much pressure on the person. Note how when I spoke to Jacob, I kept on looking away. I said, hey, do you know where the festival is, you know? And so on, this and that and this and that. My focus is not on him. My focus was on something else, but he just happened to be there to help me get that something else. And that's what you want to do. And what it does is it takes away the pressure from the conversation, you know, like, oh, the conversation has to go running and running. Instead, what you're doing is, look, I'm doing this thing anyway. Why don't you help me? Just to give you an example, have you ever been on a date and the girl was sitting opposite to you and it was super awkward and there was a lot of pressure to keep the conversation going? That's because you started on the wrong frame before the date. If you go on a date with the intention and telling the girl, look, this date is specifically to get to know you, then there's a lot of pressure on both sides to keep the conversation going, keep the date fun, and just like not have a bad experience. What's your name? So just introduce yourself.
Okay.
Baby. You know what I mean? Okay, do you want me to introduce you? This is baby.
Baby.
My baby girl. Instead, what you gotta do is, hey, I'm in town anyway. If you have time, why don't you come along and join me? So in this way, you're telling the person who you want to go on a date with that that's not the main focus. I'm getting to know you if I'm getting to know you, but my main focus is here. Whether you come or not, I'm gonna be doing this. That a lot of that takes the pressure away and actually increases the chance of it being a successful date without actually anything being forced. So I hope it makes sense. You know, try and be more aware of your body language when you talk to people. Don't face them straight away, face them sideways. Say, look, can you help me? You know, like, I'm looking at this so and so and I don't know the way. Help me. motherfucker. Number 2, which is the situational approach. The situational approach is probably the hardest one, but it is the one that gets you the least rejection. Seriously, using that, I've never really gotten rejected. And what the situational approach is, basically, you want to approach somebody based on the given context. It's never the same approach. It always changes based on the context. Here, I'll give you one example where 2 people were dancing and I actually asked them to dance with me. I don't know whether you can see, she's dancing like a pop star. もう一度お願いします。私は YouTube です。イギリスで。もう一度お願いします。
Together しよう。
Together. はいはいはい。
Together
はいはい。
はい。
So she was dancing. She gave me a context to start a conversation and break the ice. And in this particular example, the girl who was dancing, she gave up the image of being open-minded, light-hearted, and have no care in the world. So if you actually approach her in the same way, hey, no care in the world, friend, then she has to be consistent. She can't start being like, creep. It doesn't really seem like you're bothering them when you do decide to approach them. And I think that's the best approach. Remember, use the situational approach whenever you can. If you can't, just use the conventional approach. With the situational approach, I've been quite experimenting with quite a bit. And you get away with a lot of things using the situational approach. But you can also take it a little bit to an extreme. This one time I saw 2 guys, you know, standing in a corner, probably selling drugs. I'm joking. They were not selling drugs. Probably hanging out, just smoking cigarettes. And I threw spare change at them, saying like, hey man, you guys look like you need change. And it was just a joke. I said it with a smile, but it could have gone the other way. It could have gone the other way. They could have just started beating me up, you know? But actually, because it's a situational approach and because I actually use it as a joke, they laughed and actually we started hanging out and actually ended up playing table tennis together. So basically what I'm trying to say is you get a lot of leeway. You get a lot of leeway using the situational approach. That's why I'm telling you, try and use it as much as possible because it gets you the least rejection. Then there is the directional approach. The directional approach is basically saying, hey, what's up? Let's hang out. すみません。名前はちょっと待ってください。私はハルーです。インタビューしてもいいですか？はい？ Oh wow. In a way, I started a conversation just saying, hey, what's your name? Directly. And then try and change the topic really quickly. Yeah, but anyway, we ended up going to arcades, hanging out, playing games, and it was pretty fun. I had a new friend. But I wouldn't use the directional approach at all because it gets you rejected a lot. And the mistake I see most people doing is when approaching people, they think of the directional approach, approaching people, but that is fucking hard. It only works for people who are open-minded, who are fun, who actually want to hang out with you or actually have nothing to do. You know, it's very rarely that you can use it, but if you have no way of actually using the situational or the directional approach, you can use that one. And the last one is the self-directed approach. This one is really hard. Basically, the self-directed approach is using something at your disposal, whether it's my camera, you know, or whether it's your watch, anything you have to actually break the ice. In Japan, a lot of times, the way I broke the ice is by wearing my kimono, and with my wearing my kimono, people were wondering, that guy is wearing a kimono. So they actually have already made an impression of me, you know, oh, I have already, without actually trying, I have actually warmed them up towards me because they're thinking about me, saying, that guy is wearing a kimono. I wonder why he's wearing a kimono. So the people who are looking at you, you can just say, hey, you know, do you like my kimono? You know, you can break the ice in that way. That is actually probably the second best approach, but it's the second most difficult way of actually starting a conversation because you are trying to create your own context by having something unique about yourself or something at your disposal to start a conversation. And if you really want to know about the conventional approach, it works wonders. And I've got like one link, I've got one video, my last video, you should check it out. I'll put it in the description below, or I'll put up a card here showing you how to really use the conventional approach, because I think that one is probably really good in actually making friends and hanging out with somebody like on a straightaway basis. So for all you soldiers out there, I've got another exercise. I'm gonna put up some pictures, and I want you to guess in the comment section what approach would be appropriate in a particular scenario that I'm gonna present you. As for now, I'm out. Hey, don't forget to share this video if you really enjoyed it, like it, and do the rest. Subscribe if you haven't already, and click the bell button, because I'll be coming out with some real bangers.